Hey everybody, welcome to Northern Thailand and welcome to Worm Bin Weekends Week 10. Now, I know you're probably thinking to yourself, what happened to weeks 8 and 9? Well, I took the advice of one of my subscribers and decided to give the worms a break for a couple weeks. You may recall the events that happened during week 7, especially with bin number 3. Boy, we had a lot of stressed out worms. And so I figured, you know what, this is probably a good time to go ahead and just let them kind of chill for a couple weeks, just see what the response is. So that's what I did. What I'm happy to report is the day after week 7, the filming I should say, I did add some additional bedding and some additional compost to bin number 3. It calmed the worms down greatly, and over these past couple weeks, every single one of the bins has just been chill. Unfortunately, the temperatures haven't been though. We have kind of a long hot season going on right now, so I was concerned about the temps, but the worms, they didn't evacuate. So do I have worm soup or do I have happy worms? I don't know, but it's week 10. It's time to give them a nice feeding and it's time to check in on them. So let's do it. All right, week 10, bin number 1. Let's dig in. Woo. Okay, so I gotta get bags to put those bricks in. Some condensation up here on the top, some fruit flies, no worms. Boy, look at those castings. Wow. Now, this has been one, as you guys remember, this is the one that had the nice top cover with leaves. You can see them here in the center. Look at these castings, you guys. Holy cow. They have really gone to work. Wow. Now remember, this is 2 weeks, and they did receive a pretty large feeding back in week 7. They had those cucumbers, the Thai eggplant, some rice. I think there's some banana peels in there maybe. They received a pretty fair amount of food. So let's dig in and see what we've got here. We're fed right down the middle. Okay. Well, I see some seeds from the cucumbers, but I don't see any food. To speak of, I'm right down at the bottom of the bin now. Man, look at this, you guys. This is mostly castings, and it's looking pretty damp too. As you start going from bedding to castings, this is what will happen: is that the castings themselves will begin to retain a lot of moisture, even more so than the bedding. But holy cow, you guys, this is all castings now. I mean, there's barely any bedding in here at all. I mean, there's some, but what is that? Is that from a banana peel? Take a look at that. I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but I think that's from a banana peel. Well, the food is gone. Let's see how our friends are doing. Oh yeah. This is really muddy stuff right now. Wow. Yeah, okay, so if you remember, I also put a lot of bedding, a lot of leaf bedding in the corners here. And it is just loaded with worms. I hope you can see that okay. But as you can also see, it's really, really muddy stuff. Okay. So with that being the case, and there's still, that's mold. I'm not going to dig around too much, you guys, because I am going to give them a pretty large feeding in here. But what I am going to do now, after this feeding, is I'm going to let this once again go for a couple more weeks. And then what I'm going to do is I've got a plan to start to dry this stuff out now, because these are castings. And look at these castings. Aren't they beautiful? Look at them. But the problem is, see how wet they are? They're really, really wet. So we're going to need to dry this out a bit. just spread some of these leaves from the center over the sides a little more. And let's check over here. Yeah, we got a good, you know what, bin 1 has always been a hero in my mind. I mean, holy cow, look at the worms, you guys. Look at that. I hope you're able to see that okay. But man, look at these castings. Now, remember, it's, okay, today is the 14th of November, 2021. I started these bins on the 3rd of September, 2021. And this is the second batch of worms that just got added in with the original batch. And this has been one. This had the original worms and some additional ones from the second batch. And I mean, holy cow, have they gone to town. Wow. Man, this is all castings. There's no bedding left in here. I mean, there's some leaf material. I shouldn't say that. There are some leaves. As you can see, it's loaded with worms. Now, one of the things I have not been doing as I've been going through the materials like this is looking for cocoons. And part of the reason is because I've been addressing so many other issues. It's been kind of hard to even focus on reproduction. But and yeah, it's pretty damp in here, which I'd rather have it this way than too dry. But wow, look at the castings. Holy cow. And so it doesn't get anaerobic. It's good to fluff it up like this anyway, but man alive. You got castings and worms and a lot of wetness. It's as you can see, I mean, I don't even have to raise that up to you. I mean, this is mud. It's really wet. And unfortunately, the feeding I'm giving them, again, is going to include some cucumber. It's going to include some banana. But you know what I think I'm going to do? I'm going to leave them in their whole form. I'm not going to cut them up. It's also going to include a little bit of rice. And because bin 1 is always such a champ, it's also going to include a little lemon wedge. Wow. Okay, well, let's do this. Let's kind of even things out again. Just wanted to check in on them. I really hate disturbing them this much, but after a couple weeks, it's probably not a bad idea to do this a little bit, because it is really wet. It's really, really wet, and I don't want things going anaerobic. And after a couple weeks, they could. But there's no bad smells in here, and that's a testament to the. I think the way that these African Nightcrawlers feed. They don't. If there's food, and if there's things that they can consume, they're going to do that. So what I have to do now, this is where the balance comes into place of how to really dry things out. So because we have primarily castings here, and what I need to do is I need to get some of this sifted out of here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start to leave the lids off of these bins. But the problem is they're in the water tub. So what I need to do now is I'm going to need to drain the water out of the tubs, only leave a very slight amount in there so that ants and things like that can't get in. So as long as the bins can stay centered without floating around, I'll take the lids off. We'll let this dry out a bit on top. The worms will also appreciate the additional oxygen. And I think, man, 10 weeks and they've already done that much work. That just blows me away. But there are a lot of worms in these bins now. So I mean, each one started off with just 100, but at this point, if I was to guess, I'd have to say each one has at least 350, maybe 400 per bin. There's a lot of worms in each one of these bins. All right, so what we're gonna do, this is gonna be the final feeding I'm gonna give bin 1 until I can harvest some of these castings out of here. And I'll show you how I do that after I dry things out. It's actually just kind of a sift as you go method, so you don't have to extract them out all at once. It just, you dry it out on top, you scrape it, use a colander, which is what I use colanders for in this particular case, into a little tub, and then you just keep going until you have it all out. And then that way you can restart your bin pretty easily. And you have the microbes that you want to be able to start with. Okay, so let's make ourselves a feeding area in here. And what I'm going to do this time to put the foods in is I'm going to use some crushed up leaves and just a little bit of brown paper, just a little. Okay. First we get some brown paper down. Oh yeah, tasty foods. Like I said, I think because of what's going on here, I'm just gonna leave them whole. 1 banana, 2 bananas, 3 bananas, 1 cucumber, some banana peels, lemon wedge, and a little bit of rice. Just a small amount, not a large amount. Don't want to overheat the bins, but you know what? That was the other thing I didn't really share is that it's been warm this year. Our warm season is definitely it's definitely running longer than I had expected it to. But we're about 2 weeks away from December. My hope is that it finally starts to drop a few degrees more, so that things start to cool down a bit. Right now, our temperatures during the day are about high 80s Fahrenheit, and in the evenings, it doesn't really get below 70 degrees Fahrenheit yet. So it's been that way for the better part of a month, since about October. It just hasn't changed. I would have figured by now it would have, but nope, not yet. All right, that's it for the foods. Some leaves. And I had a subscriber that said she really did not like listening to me crunch up the leaves. So I decided, you know what? I'll do that off camera, because some people just don't like that. She also said I need to speak more clearly, and she's absolutely right. I actually want to thank you guys for criticisms like this. It helps me make better content. I knew for a while that I wasn't speaking clearly and that I was mumbling, and I want to apologize for that. Anyway, I just was wanting to say that I really do appreciate criticism like that. It helps me just make better content. Okay, I think that's going to do it for bin 1. We've got the food in, got a little bit of covering for it. I'm going to put the lid on for right now, but what's going to happen between now and week 11, when we get to week 11, I'm going to do a check-in to see how they've made their way through this food. And then I think what I'm going to do after that check-in on week 11 is I'm going to take the lids off, and I'm just going to let this stuff ride, put the lid off so that it can dry out, because it's really, really wet. But that's it for bin 1. Really, really good check-in. Just want to thank you guys for joining me today. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and share it. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet, and hit the bell notification icon so you can be alerted to when I upload new content. And wherever you are in this world today or tonight, you take care. Bye for now.